conversation. You don't know if he's clean. Same people who hop in these relationships end up on stuff that I watch every day, like a divorce court
You know,
or
females
Judge
carry most STDs these days, right?
Faith saying that they fell in love after 2 months, 2 weeks, and 2 days and moved him into your home, have children, and then are confused as to why their life isn't going the way they want it to go. If you do not know what a groupie is essentially in the past it was like a man, like it was specified genderly as like, women, pretty women that would be on the side of men, celebrities, athletes to be exact, and they're there to look pretty and give free stuff, but we also know that they were there to open them legs. Okay, we know how the men are being exposed. Diddy's and Jay-Z's and all of them are allegedly are being
Jay-Z wasn't
exposed for the
exposed.
stuff they were doing behind the scenes. So we
But
know
Jay-Z still
some of the
freaky
stuff
ass
that was
nigga though.
happening to these women. Now in 2025, you're starting to see groupie culture isn't it's in the middle, I would say. There are more girls who are just there to be around celebrities and stuff like that to bring their image up and to get more followers. But you're starting to see a lot more of these celebrities and influencers have groupies that are just people who are other celebrities and influencers that influencers low key on the internet that we may all not know, but low key they have like 200,000 followers on the talk or on YouTube. So if you catch me as a Charlie XCX groupie, there you go. There you go. If there's a list, put me on it. This is so important.
Isn't Charlie XCS a female? Yeah, we gonna have to look that up. I don't even know who. I thought Charlie XCS is a female. Yeah, Charlie XCX is a female, so she wouldn't be a fucking groupie unless Charlie XCS is, a lesbian. Then I guess, but she wouldn't be a groupie because groupies would. If anything, she'd be a stan. She'd be a stan. That's what she'd be. A groupie goes towards the opposite sex because groupies are more seen as sexual commodities and shit like that. Hey, I'm just telling what they're seen as. Don't shoot me because I'm just a messenger of what it sees. So I'm just correcting her saying she's wrong. She'd be more of a stan because she's a fan.
Important to talk about because this is important to talk about because it's slowly starting to invade our everyday lives. Like people getting on the internet now that we're in a recession saying stuff like, if so and so offered me to pull up at their party, or if so and so invited me to a Diddy party, I will pull up and do whatever for however much amount of money. Or girls getting on the internet saying they want to be NBA wives and wags and stuff like this, knowing about being cheated on. And there's more reality TV shows of women getting on talking about how they're NBA wives and wags and celebrity girlfriends and rapper girlfriends, and in all of these relationships they're getting cheated on, they're getting disrespected, and the man isn't doing nothing but handing them a gift, a bag, a pair of shoes, and a wad of money to solve the issues. And I feel like, the more...
What's crazy? It's always the females who look at another person's relationship and judges from the little bit of information that they get. It's constant that they'll look at like for example, like Khloe Kardashian, how Tristan Thompson like cheated on her multiple times, and just going with the cheating aspect, they would always say like, "Oh yeah, these females." They'd be like, "Yeah, there's always people on Twitter talking about, oh yeah, if I was an NBA wife, I don't give a fuck about being cheated on because he's giving me a bag, he's taking care of my lifestyle, da da da." But the females who don't want to be cheated on, which is completely valid. Nobody should be cheated on. But the females who don't want to be cheated on, they're looking at other females who are like, bruh, as long as he's going to provide me a good lifestyle, I don't care what he does. They're shaming him. They're literally shaming him and paying more attention to they're paying more attention to the females, saying like, hey, like, I don't mind if he does this, as long as he provides this, and saying, oh, you shouldn't want that. You're gonna be disrespected. You're a groupie. You're a whore. You're a da 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 da. Looking down on them, judging them, and shaming them, but not looking. And I'm not talking to her, like, for example, but not looking at their relationships and just minding their business. Because most of the time, people are pointing out shit and their insecurities, but when they point that shit out, they also got shit going on in the background in their own lives that they need to address. And rather than focusing on that, getting that shit together, they're too busy focused on other people and other people's relationships. I don't get into other people's relationships. I really do not care about other people's relationships. I don't care if they're gay. I don't care if they're, if they're trans. I don't care if they're lesbian. I don't care if they're straight. I don't care if those individuals like doing furry shit. They swingers. I don't care. It's none of my business. As long as it's a mutual agreement, as long as they're both okay and it's two consenting parties and they're like, all right, I feel safe, I feel comfortable doing this with you, and they're both generally good people, who am I to say, oh yeah, that's nasty, that's wrong, they freaked out, or da 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 da? Who am I to judge? I am nobody to judge, because I got my own shit that I'm worried about. I know the shit that I want to do. I'm not paying attention to other motherfuckers, because I know other motherfuckers ain't paying attention to me. And if they ain't paying attention to me, that means I'm giving them a reason to. Either I'm doing my thing and that means I'm doing my thing. Ain't no negativity about it. I'm just doing my thing and going on my own wave. But a lot of people don't want to do that and go on their own wave. They want to go ahead and judge other people for doing what makes them happy and doing what they were put on this earth to do. Which is sad. But it gives you good content.
Or that this slowly tries to slip into our everyday culture. Once again, people are getting far out of touch on what it looks like to be in a healthy relationship with somebody. And you can be in a healthy relationship with somebody and they have the means to support you.
But my thing is, bro, we gotta stop putting hard set definitions on words. I literally just told y'all about how there's a word that it is the same word, but it has two different meanings. Everybody has their own meaning for a certain word. Like, your healthy relationship doesn't define other people's healthy relationship. There's no overarching set definition for a healthy relationship. If anything, there's a basis of a healthy relationship, and then you make it to how you personalize it to yourself. The basis of a healthy relationship, in my opinion, is two consenting parties who are having fun and they both feel safe to do whatever and explore, and they grow, but it's within that confines of their relationship. They define what's healthy for them. If these two people are like, you know what, I'm not a cheater, I want to be monogamous, I'm cool being monogamous, how about that? Yes, let's be monogamous. A lot of people think that's a fucking healthy relationship. For them it is. But there are monogamous relationships where there's fucking like marital rape. Or, the female is just not giving no fucking not giving her husband some pussycat. And he's doing everything he's supposed to do as a man. Like, would you call that healthy? I wouldn't. So it depends on each relationship when it comes to the definition of a healthy relationship. So you can't put an overarching, this is a healthy relationship and this is the example, because nobody's perfect. No relationship is perfect. You work on it, you build it, you talk to each other, you communicate, you learn about each other, you grow with each other. Not worry about other people's relationships. Because worrying about other people's relationships while you're in a relationship, that'll affect your relationship.
Now, do I think it's smart to be with somebody and you cannot support yourself in any way, shape, or form, to the point where when they cut you off or when they're tired of being with you and they say, toodles, get out of my face, and you go, oh, I don't have any money, I don't think that's smart. But I think that if you do have somebody that's doing all that stuff and they are giving you money, you should be saving that money. Because I honestly think that, you know, now that we're in a recession, I personally have a job. I hate working.
I do too.
I'm going to be so honest.
Shit, I hate working too.
I think I hate working just because I'm working jobs that have nothing to do with my
life purpose.
My future. I want to go into marketing. I want to go into fashion, and that's not what I'm doing right now.
I get
so with that being said, me being Gen Z and me being 20, me being around people my age, everybody else is giving they hate work too, especially because we're in an economy where people are either unemployed because they
look. We were not put on this earth to be working every fucking day, do a 9 to 5. We were not put on this earth to do the same thing. Go to work from 9 to 5, then after that, go back to the crib, do the shit around the house, go to sleep, wake up and do it all over again. We weren't put on this earth to be like robots. We were put on this earth to explore, live life, grow spiritually, have that peace, align our chakras, and just grow and enjoy the human experience, enjoy life. That's what we were put on this earth to do. With work, there's a whole lot of stuff that I can get into on the spiritual shit that keeps us from enjoying life. Work, the food we eat, the water we drink, the lust, like the porn and shit like that, and just fucking around. What else? Not getting enough sun. That too. Not working out, not taking care of yourself. A lot of outside pressures when it comes to like family, drama, and stuff like that. Work. I already said job, but work if you hate what you're doing. Addictions, different drugs. There's a whole lot of stuff that keeps people from actually enjoying life. So that's when you gotta actually like, when you become like kind of spiritually awakening, or when you have that moment of, I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be doing this. You lock in on that moment, that's when you have that inner peace. That's when you go ahead and you decipher out what's trash, what's bullshit I don't need, and then what's something I do need. I'm gonna replace this with this.
Can't get jobs because after people are getting out of college and getting their diplomas,
bills too,
the unemployment rate is going higher for my generation for some reason. But even with that, the jobs we're getting is like rinky dinky jobs. Like, babe, I want a big girl job, I want a real job, give me that big money-ons.
I don't want a job, because if I have a job, that means I'm working for somebody else. That literally, a job is, you're getting 25 cents to that dollar of the individual who you're working for, and he's reaping the benefits of you being a creative and you giving your value to somebody else. They see that value in you, and they're paying you pennies to what they're making because you don't see it in yourself. That's how I see it. That's why when I work, I just be chilling, I be vibing, having a great time. I don't let nothing stress me out. I swear to God, I don't let nothing stress me out because all bullshit. And I'm like, bro, I'm not going to be here long. I'm going to be chilling. And I know that I'm 26 right now. I'm going to be fucking rich. And I'm rich right now. I'm a walking fucking trillionaire. I feel rich right now. I am rich. It's just my bank account don't, it's not there yet. But I feel rich. I'm walking rich. I feel like I can buy anything I want. Once you start feeling that and you manifest that, you're going to get to that. That's just how it is. That's just how it's going to be. And that job, I can't give a fuck about that job. I can get another one. Jobs come and go. But here's the thing, though. I'm not going to be working at a job forever because that's not in my purpose. That's not God's purpose for me. And that's not my purpose. That's where I'm at right now. Won't be where I'm at in next year. Or 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line. It's just, right now, I'm working it for a reason. And I'm just taking it and I'm soaking up the knowledge so I can apply it to my own businesses and stuff like that, so I can grow that. That's all it is.
I don't need to do 17 years of experiments. I'm telling you.
Experiments.
I have 11,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's all you need to know. We're currently in a generation of people who are not in touch with themselves cannot afford to live and are slowly being force fed this porn filled, freak filled normalization of toxicity. And it's very scary. It's very scary because if we don't nip this type of stuff in the bud, you know, this current world is a product of the previous generation not nipping so much stuff in the bud. That's why we are where we are now. So if we do not nip these things in the bud for the next generation, you know, because personally my YouTube channel, I want to be, not only is my YouTube channel a means of having conversations about nuanced conversations about random things, but it's also going to be a means of, you know, my future generation of kids will be able to watch these videos and see this is how mommy was thinking at 20, and this is what
I can say too, because she just said that the previous generation didn't do a good job of nipping shit in the bud, and I would actually disagree. I say half and half, because they nipped a lot of shit in the bud, but like in the last video when I said that they said it was my way or the highway, they wouldn't explain it. That's my only issue with that. They would say no, but with no explanation, because it's like, oh yeah, you're a kid, so stay in a child's place. You're in a child's place. No, we're all humans. If anything, you can learn a lot from kids. Even though I say fuck them kids, we can learn a lot from kids, you know. And so they nipped a lot of shit in the bud, but it didn't stick because there was no explanation behind it to where they could, where the kids would listen. Because the kids would listen out of the fear of, I don't want to get spanked. But at the end of the day, that fear of being spanked goes away and they just gonna do whatever. Because it's like, alright, what are they gonna do? Hit me? Alright, they gonna spank me. Cool, I don't care. I'm just gonna do the same thing. Versus, talk to them, say, I don't want you doing this, and give them an explanation and have, you know, get them to understand it. That's, you know what? Alright, bet. Because here's the thing, physical wounds heal, but I believe that you go and you talk to a kid and you explain to them why, you know, you don't want them to do something, they do it anyway. If you show them that you're disappointed in them for what they did, like, that's gonna hurt way worse. That's gonna hurt way worse. Like, I don't know if y'all seen that the episode of Blackish where it was the whooping episode, and it was when fucking Jack was he was just hiding randomly when, like, they was out in public, or like when it was in a crib, and he was hiding for like hours and nobody could find him, and then he was just hiding under the sink for like 12 hours and popped up out of nowhere, and they was like, all right, it's time to, you know, Anthony Anderson's like, all right, it's time to go mode. I'm about to beat your ass. Pulls out the belt, and all the siblings were like, oh yeah, dad's whoopings, they hurt. They da-da-da-da. It's gonna be horrible. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, giving them like war horror stories about whoopings, right? And then he was like, you never gonna whoop me out. It ain't gonna happen. And he was about to get whooped. He had the bet out. And then Dre was like, I'm not even gonna whoop you. I'm just very disappointed in you, son. That instantly broke him. Instantly. And it's funny because Lawrence Fishburne, he was like, I told you to whoop it, not to scar him for life. But yeah, if you know that, if the kids know that they disappointed you, that's way worse. And that's gonna keep them from, you know, doing shit out in public that'll essentially doing stuff out in public that'll put them in harm's way. Yeah, because I had to think, 'cause I was like, well, how did I get to this? But because we was talking about old school and, you know, their ways of teaching and everything.
what was going on in society at this time, and these were the issues that we were enduring. You get me? But that was it for this video. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow my other channel, and have a beautiful day.
That was a good video, but we didn't really talk about the problems with the groupie culture, though. Like I said, it was a good video. Shout out to Amaya, but we didn't really talk about the problems with the groupie culture. All you did was talk about Duke Dennis and his baby mamas, and then the problems with why society, which I already pointed it out. But you didn't really get into the nitty gritty of groupie culture. I pretty much already I said the video before as I was watching it, man. Okay.